Hi everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. And definitely at a downward angle right now, but that's okay. So this is the start of a weekend reading vlog. This is something I've done kind of the last 2 years. It wasn't always called the same thing. Like last year I think I called it Reading in the New Year, and I did like a 24-hour reading vlog or something. I can't remember. And then the year before that, I did weekly reading vlogs. That's what I did. And I'm not planning to go back to those, so don't get excited. My weekly wrap-ups are still going to be the most efficient way for me to talk about every book that I read, which when I did my end of the year poll, my weekly reading wrap-ups were voted on by over 50%. Like, people picked that as their favorite video that I do. So I'm going to continue to do those to the best of my ability. But a video that people are asking for is more reading vlogs. And something that was on my goal list of 2020 was to do more reading vlogs because I had switched over to the weekly wrap-ups. So, point being, I want to try to do more of those. And since I have a 3-day weekend where I'm not planning to go anywhere, I may go to a friend's house for New Year's Eve, but I actually don't think that I will because it is, as my father would elegantly say, colder than a witch's tit. And that is said with great respect for any witches who might be watching my channel, but that's something my dad always says. It is very, very cold here in Fargo. So I'm not really planning to go anywhere. I picked up groceries yesterday. I'm all snuggled into my home and I don't really plan to go anywhere. So I thought this would be a good time to do a reading vlog. And so I put up a poll on my channel for both channel members. So, okay, let me explain this better. We'll go up here now. I'm preparing to film some other videos, so we're a bit of disarray. But, I put up 4 different polls to help pick 4 books that I would read over the 3 days. It's completely doable, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how much reading actually gets done because it's this crazy phenomenon, and I've said it before. I actually read better a lot of times when I'm doing things. So it's either listening to audiobooks or when I'm at work. I'm just able to concentrate more because I can't get distracted by everything in my house. Surprise, surprise, my beautiful house with all my beautiful books is very distracting. It's a thing. It's distracting. So, yeah. But, okay, so I put up 4 polls. I keep getting distracted. One was just for the channel members in Renegades and Fated Friends because they are the channel members that have access to exclusive polls. So they got to vote on a book. And the choice was between, what was the other choice? I literally have this written down. Why am I trying to guess when I literally have it written down? New year, new notebook. Gotta start a new notebook. Okay, so for the member vote, it was between When a Rogue Meets His Match or Secrets for Seducing a Royal Bridegroom, because I have both of those books on my Libby right now and I need to read them. And the one that won by a pretty high majority for the members was When a Rogue Meets His Match. I also have I just said that. I have the audiobook ready for this one. So this is number 2 in the Grey Court series. I don't think it's actually that long because there's a bonus book at the back. So it's actually like this long. So this one, yeah, I have the audiobook for this one and I'm pretty excited about it. I will have to remember kind of the Grey Court story and everything once I dive into it. Then I had an audience vote, which was for everyone on my channel to vote on. So, by the way, if you're not a channel member, you can still see the stuff on my community page that I post for everybody. Because sometimes I do post polls, I ask questions, I want to find out what you guys want me to read. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because then you'll see my community posts come up. So the audience vote was for Hostage by Skye Warren and Annika Martin. So this was a dark romance one. Or Vipers and Virtuosos by Sav. I didn't write down the last name. But it's basically, it was the second one to like Promises and Pomegranates or whatever, which I didn't love, but I heard the next one was also really great. So, sorry, I forgot to make my tea, so it's just sitting here. This is a reading vlog. I can do whatever I want. So I have these tea drops that I use sometimes. I don't do tea very often, but this is a spice chai tea drop. So what it is that it's all the like spices for the tea, but you dissolve the whole thing right into your cup of tea, and there is some sediment that like gets left behind, but you can drink it. So here's my beautiful mug. My sister gave this to me. You can actually see it. Maybe you can't. You can see it like dissolving in here. So that's the chai tea that I'm making. My throat was a little sore when I woke up. It's because I talked a lot. I had a lot of phone calls to make for work yesterday. It's not because I'm sick. And then I also have a latte. So I have two different things going on. Anyway, and the one that won in that poll was Hostage, which I'm actually very happy about because I have the audiobook for this one. And this was given as a gift to me by my best friend, Shauna. I really loved Prisoner. I read it back in October. Some people were asking me about that. Yes, I've read the first book in the series, I promise. But this is so beautiful. I had been like putting it off because I know that they haven't written a book together in a while. And there is more people in this crew and I want to read it. So this one we'll talk more about when I get to it. But I really loved Prisoner, which was a captive, and I'm pretty sure this one is too. So that is a dark romance I plan to read. Then there was a poll between two arcs that I have. You know, I was trying to pick stuff everywhere. So there is The Dating Dilemma by Mariah Ankenman and Open Play by Jenn or J.E. Walsh, or Jenn E. Walsh, I don't know. These are both books that I have on NetGalley. One of them comes in January, one in February, but I just wanted to get to them. And this was an Instagram poll, and the overwhelming answer was The Dating Dilemma, which I'm very excited about because I really liked The Wedding Dilemma, which was the first one. These are firefighter romances. They're rom-coms. They're spicy. They're funny. I follow Mariah on TikTok. That feels good on my throat. And she has some of the funnest, some of the most fun videos about like reading and being an author. And she's also dyslexic, so she has some great advice about how to write when you have kind of that as an impediment for you. It's great. And then the last poll that I put up on, which was another Instagram poll, was to choose between two Minerva Spencer books. Well, technically one is Minerva Spencer and one is SM LaViolette, but they've really been putting her Minerva Spencer name more prominent because those books are more popular for her. So it was between Figure of Love and Joss and the Countess. And I'm very happy to say, because I kept waiting, hoping the one that I wanted would end up winning, and it did. It did. So I stopped it as soon as the one I wanted was winning. I don't care. This is my poll. I'm going to read both of these books. But Figure of Love, these are both book 2 in series that I started. So Figures of Love, this series is about different kinds of teachers. There's like tutors and musical teachers and writing teacher, like all these different kinds. And then Joss and the Countess, which is the follow-up to Melissa and the Vicar. And it takes place around this brothel. Now, Joss, he is like a bodyguard or like the big man at the brothel. And the Countess, I can't remember, like I believe he's going to be her bodyguard for a certain amount of time. Like, I don't know if she's on the run from somebody or like whatever, but I don't know. I'm excited. Minerva Spencer writes very spicy books. She a lot of the times does tropes that I'm not super comfortable with, but I am so compelled by her writing that I can't put them down. And that is an awesome author, in my opinion, when like I can't help but keep going, right? So then there's just one other thing I wanted to say. So those are the 4 books I'm planning to do for this vlog. However, there's a 5th book that got added in because yesterday, with no warning, I had not seen any advertisement for this book. There were no arcs that went out for it because there's absolutely no ratings on Goodreads at all. Descent by Sam Mariano dropped, okay? So this book just dropped. It is a part of like the Heaven and Hell series. If you're been watching my channel, you know I recently read a book by Adelaide Forrest that was called Wrong, that was also in this series. It's one of those like collaborative series where it has a central like location or theme, but all the authors write different books in it. Kind of like the Midnight Dynasty or stuff like that. And anyway, I hadn't really been interested in the other ones I'd seen that were out, but I didn't even know Sam Mariano was writing one for this. Like I don't remember seeing it when I was looking up wrong, and it just dropped. And it's not a novella length. Like a lot of other books in this series are like novella length. This one is 519 pages. It is a full fucking book just dropped out of nowhere. And the way that it sounded, I was a bit nervous, but the way that it sounded is that this was a character possibly that had been alluded to in other of Sam's books. Now, since then now I'm not sure if this is that person. Because I thought, so the male lead, let's not call him a hero. The male lead of this book, his name is Calvin. And his bearing and how he's described reminds me of a character that is mentioned in the epilogue of Untouchable. Now, that character is never named. He appears at a dinner that Zoe and Carter go to, but he's never named. He just gives Zoe a bad feeling, which, you know, is funny because Carter is her man. So there's that. But I could totally be wrong, and Sam hasn't really said anything. But I also thought there was a guy mentioned in The Boy on the Bridge, and not the guy who's in high school with them, but an adult that gets mentioned. But I word searched The Boy on the Bridge, and I didn't find this guy's name. So I could just be blowing smoke. But either way, this man is like Carter Mahoney, grown up, like 10 years older, and he's a billionaire. Okay, that's how I would describe this man, okay? We need to see how it plays out. But the way that he is kind of reminds me of, you know, I've said this when I talk about Untouchable. Who would Carter be if he never meets Zoe when he's 18 and never finds someone to be better for? And you can debate, Carter doesn't ever really get better, but he does bend and change just a little bit so that he and Zoe do have a consenting relationship that they both are okay with. Like, they get to that point together. They don't start that way, but that's where they get to. And so far, I'm 50% of the way through this book. That's why we're talking about it, because I have to put in this vlog. Like, I may have found my next Carter Mahoney, but he's darker and scarier and much more powerful. Like, Carter Mahoney had that town under his thumb, but to a certain degree, like, he was still a kid. And if Zoe was also a kid, though. So he's able to make her believe that he's the toughest guy around, okay? And that everyone will believe him. And Zoe believes that. But in all honesty, he's not. He's still just an 18-year-old kid. His dad is the one who has the power. There are ways to take someone down like that. But we let it go in that story because that's the story that's being told. I know I'm going really deep into this. But my point being, I'm reading about Calvin. And the heroine's name is, damn it, Hallie. I think her name is Hallie. She is the ex-girlfriend of Calvin's employee, and he'd seen her at a holiday Christmas party like a fucking year ago, and he never forgot her. And he's a psychopath. He is a domesticated one to a certain degree but I don't know, but he just very clearly thinks through the things, and he's a billionaire and he can do what he wants. And up to this point, he's been okay with just playing at the Heaven and Hell Sex Club, which, you know, is the sex club that this series, like, revolves around, where anything goes, basically. And he tricks Haley into getting there by using her ex-boyfriend to get her there. And then he rapes her. Yep. Because he's used the Heaven and Hell before to have consensual situations, and he's decided that that's not enough. So we're literally looking at a possible serial rapist who has his first prey. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, because he may be ensnared by Haley, but he'd already decided to take that next step. And she's there, and he's like, no one's going to rescue you here, because at heaven and hell, just walking in the building basically means you've given consent. No, it doesn't, ladies. Like, we know that. But this is a dark thriller. I don't even want to call it a romance yet, because our heroine's not on board at the point that I'm at, and I'm 50% it. And he's like, I'm going to do whatever I want to you in this room, and then I'm going to let you go. And it doesn't matter who you tell. You could go to the police. You could do whatever. No one's going to believe you. You could literally take my DNA and bring it there, and nothing will happen, because I own everything. Whew. So I have a lot of feelings about this, and I'm very interested to see if it will pull off, because here's the thing for me, and I say this when I read psychopath romances, because since Carter popped my cherry, okay, he popped Zoe's cherry, he popped my cherry for psychopaths too. Since reading him, I've read a lot, okay, I've read a lot of them at this point, and there aren't a ton where the woman can match up with him, because here's the thing. A woman in this kind of situation, she can't fully match up to him. She can't match up to him physically, can't match up to his money, can't match up to his manipulative power. She's completely helpless. But how does she react to that? Does she just give into it immediately and is just like, do whatever you want to me? What part of herself is she able to keep independent from him? How is she able to manipulate him back? How is she able to wheedle to find the freedom she can within the confines of this relationship? Like, what does she do? Because that's what makes a psychopath romance interesting to me, is how the woman is able to fight back with her mind. And so far, Haley's doing a great job for me. She's, again, not able to match him. This guy's twisted. Like Tiffany said it in her stories today, because we were reading this at the same time. Every time I think he's reached the lowest point he's gonna go, the floor falls out. And I'm like, so I don't know. I'm not saying this man will be my favorite over Carter Mahoney, because already there's some things where I'm like, Carter wouldn't do that. But as I've said, maybe it's because Carter found Zoe when he was 18 and he wasn't fully this type of man yet. He still had some malleability left in him. And this guy doesn't seem to have that. So I don't know. I'm scared. So, okay. This was way too long for a starter clip, but I had a lot of stuff to share. And this may end up being a super long video. I mean, it's going to be, because I have 4 books to read. So we'll see how we do. But anyway, I'm actually ready to film some other things. I wanted to show off. I just got a new Chromebook. It was a Christmas present to myself, but also partially from my dad, because I said, Dad, I would really like a laptop. I have my Surface computer, but it has one of those detachable keyboards, and it's very uncomfortable to use for stuff. This is my Chromebook, and it's one of the flip ones, so like I can use it for like notes if I want to have things in front of me when I film. And it was seriously on such a big sale. I got so lucky. This laptop is normally, or this Chromebook is normally like $360, and it was on sale for $200, and then my dad had given me a gift card. Plus I used my Target Red card, so I got 5% off. So I got a really great deal on this, so I'm so excited. So anyway, yes, it's a necessity of the first world that I don't need, but also I'm happy to have it. So there we go. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to have my tea and get started on my other videos. I'm wearing my Outlander shirt today, which I'm excited about. And yeah, we'll talk later. Well, hello. Oh boy, what a day it's been. It's only 6 p.m. It feels like it's a lot later, but still New Year's Eve. I got a lot of stuff done today, so I feel accomplished. I filmed the videos I wanted to film, got them edited and uploaded, and then I just finished Descent. Now, is it Descent or Decent? I don't know which ones it is. I think it might actually be Descent. I don't know which way we pronounce it, but either one of them, I can make it work for me because I can make a reason why either one of them works. But I think it's Descent because of the hell and the Heaven and Hell Club or whatever, and she goes down into hell with him. But I give this 5 stars. I still need to process it a little bit, because I know that, like, with Untouchable, I read that book quite a few times before I fully appreciated it. There's a lot about Descent that is just like a horror novel. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, it's a thriller in a lot of ways, as this psychopath takes over this woman's life bit by bit until she has nowhere to go. But at some point, there's that shift where she realizes that this is serious, and like, well, she knows it's serious, but this is serious to him, that she's not just a toy, that she's more than that to him, and that she has the fiercest, most powerful protector that she could ever hope to have, or have a nightmare to have. So Sam Mariano writes this kind of man better than any. Like, she just does. Like, she isn't always trying to write that man, and the times when she's not writing that kind of man is the times when I think she misses the mark. Like, just being honest, like, The Boy on the Bridge didn't work for me. I like that these were adults. You know, these are fully fledged adults. So there wasn't any of the things in Untouchable that you have to, like, overlook, you know, where it's like, oh, she has a mom. Well, okay, her mom's dumb. Well, in this one, it's like, she doesn't live by her mom. She doesn't check in with her mom every day. So she doesn't talk to her mom for a while. Who's going to notice, you know? Like, that's how it is for me. Like, I don't talk to my parents sometimes for like a month. I deeply love them. And I like will text my dad every other day maybe, but like, we don't talk on the phone that often. And if I didn't talk to them for a while, like, no one would notice. Like, I say this again and again, like, my Booktube friends, specifically like Crystal and Jessin and Tiffany, they would notice before anyone else if something happened to me, because they're who I talk to every day. And they live thousands of miles away from me. Like, obviously my work would notice if I didn't come in, but like, nobody else would. So these kind of books where someone just takes over your life, it's so fascinating. Like, it's fascinating to me. And this man does some, oh God, he does some dastardly things. And I just have a big smile because I know it's fucked up. But those kind of twisted men are what dark romance is for me, because they are so far from what I would find acceptable in real life, but the authors write them in such a compelling way that I can't put it down, and I just love that. So what am I going to read next? So 2 things I'm going to dive into that are from our list. So while I was making my lunch, I just barely started When the Rogue Meets His Match. I started on audio, and so this one is Gideon Hawthorne, and our heroine is Messalina Greycourt, and she's the Duke's niece, and she is getting given to Hawthorne to marry. And I don't know, like, that's as far as I've gotten, but I'm very excited because apparently he's wanted her for a very long time, and he's made a deal with her uncle that he could have her, but then she wants to escape him, and so he makes a deal with her that's like, be my true wife, and I'll like get you what you want. But of course she's going to agree with it so that she can escape from him. But she's going to be giving her body and her time to him, so she's probably going to fall for him anyway, which, I mean, I know she is, so I'm very excited. So I'll probably listen to this for a while because I want to take a bubble bath, and then I'm going to have myself a glass of wine and just plan to enjoy New Year's Eve on my own here. It's going to be a nice little relaxing day, and yeah. So that's kind of my plan. So I want to listen to this one while I like have my bath and relax and everything. And then I'm also going to start The Dating Dilemma. So I pulled that one up on my Kindle. So if I want to listen to an audiobook, I will be listening to this one. And if I want to just have it be kind of quiet, because I do have my, let's see if you could see it. I do have my fireplace going on my TV. That is a weird angle there. but we're sitting in a different place than normal to just try to give you some different camera angles than I normally do, right? So, anyway, that's what's going on so far. Really invigorating day so far, but I got a lot of stuff done. I'm very happy with how that worked out. And tomorrow I do have 2 more videos to film, and then I'll feel good because I'll have the next, like, 2 weeks of videos done. Maybe not a full 2 weeks, because I get too excited and I drop videos sooner than I need to. Because tomorrow I'll have to film my, like, weekly wrap-up, which will be kind of sticky because this technically will be the first day of the new year, but I'll probably just wrap up the last week of December, and I'm calling it bonus week. But some of the books in that one I am counting as January. Like, ugh. I can never do things the easy way, but that's okay. I don't know if my phone will stay on this because I have it on my tripod but plugged in, so we'll see if it can do it. But anyway, I thought I would film a quick clip, even though my voice is hurting a little bit. It is the first of the year. Yay, Happy New Year's Day. I'm looking super glam right now because I did a Get Ready With Me live show on my YouTube channel, which you can still view because I did a Get Ready With Me and a book haul. I was gonna film the book haul as like its own thing, but I just wanted to hang out with people today, and a lot of people showed up, which was awesome. We had a lot of viewers show up, but I haven't done just a random live hangout in quite a while. I've been too busy on the weekends to do that, so it hasn't happened. And today I'm not in any rush because I filmed a lot yesterday, and so I only had like 1 video that I had to film. But anyway, I ended up doing this live chat for like 2 hours, it was great. And I did my makeup, and then I filmed my weekly wrap-up, so that's done. And then I put away all my books from my book haul, which, yeah, I do not have a lot of space for books anymore. I need to do a purge again, but it's hard, okay? It's hard getting rid of books, but it's definitely time to do a purge. So anyway, an update. We'll keep this one quick, I promise, because I don't have a ton to say. But I finished When a Rogue Meets His Match. I listened to that book while I got stuff done last night. I worked on my bullet journal, and it was pretty good. I gave it 4 stars. I talk about this in my wrap-up in more detail, but the hero was great. Like, he was a, lower class, scrappy, made man who like owes this duke a lot, and the duke keeps giving him jobs, and he promises him he can marry his niece if he does this one final job for him, but he doesn't tell him what the job is before he marries the niece. And before he will release her dowry, he has to complete this task. And I won't tell you what the task is, but the task that he's asked to do would basically lose him any chance at a real relationship with his wife, because she would never forgive him for this task. So it was good. The biggest thing I could say is that I've read better Elizabeth Hoyt, okay? There's something that Elizabeth Hoyt will do with her heroes sometimes where they don't let miscommunications get in their way, and I love that. And this time around, which she can't write every book the same, but it just didn't like work for me. So I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't bad. It was pleasant to listen to. I love the narrator. And I'm excited for the next one in the series, but I love her Maiden Lane so much more. And this series, like, it spins off from Maiden Lane, but it's not very much, like there's not enough of it that it's super exciting, right? So next up, I did start The Dating Dilemma as I was falling asleep last night, so I've only read 2 chapters of that one. So I want to read that, but then I'm going to start Hostage pretty soon here because I have the audiobook for Hostage. So this one, I'll read the back of this one to you. So I never knew he'd come to me, only that he would. I'd never even kissed a boy the night I met Stone, the night I saw him kill, the night he spared my life. That was only the beginning. He turns up in my car again and again, dangerous and full of raw power. Drive, he tells me, and I have no choice. He's a criminal with burning green eyes, invading my life and my dreams. The police say he's dangerously obsessed with me, and I'm the one who can't stop thinking about him. But I'm the one who can't stop thinking about him. Maybe it's wrong to let him touch me. Maybe it's wrong to touch him back. Maybe these twisted dates need to stop, except he feels like the only real thing in my world of designer labels and mansions. Oh, so she's a rich girl. So I drive us under threat until it's hard to remember I don't want to be there, until it's too late to turn back. So it looked like she's a reluctant getaway driver that he keeps going back to. So I know who Stone is. I believe he's like the leader of the gang, of the group of criminals from Prisoner. But I'm interested to read this one, especially because he gave our hero in the last book a lot of shit for having a girl that he was attached to. So very interested. So yes, I have the audiobook for this one. And I have to edit and everything and get that video up. And so I'm going to watch a couple YouTube videos and then I will start this one because it's only 2 o'clock on Saturday. So we got plenty of time to get through the other 3 books on my list because we have all day tomorrow as well. Thank goodness for long weekends. So, okay. I'll be back. Hello. So, hi. It's Sunday. And I'm going to try to wrap up this vlog today just because I don't want it to be going too far into the week. So what I have left to read, okay? So I finished Hostage last night. I don't think I filmed a clip about that. I can't remember if I did or not. But I finished Hostage. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. It was a lot softer in some ways than I was expecting it to be. There was not as much... like, there was really only one scene that was, like, dubious consent. And I'm not saying I needed to have that. I'm saying I'm surprised. Because Prisoner definitely had a lot more dubious situations going on, in my opinion, than Hostage did. This one also, you know, we were starting with a underage girl in the beginning. She's only 16 when this story kicks off. And she is... like 18 before anything like really happens, but there is a phone call specifically when I think she is 17 when that one happens, where they he like gets her off on the phone. Well, she gets herself off with him telling her how. So that was, you know, like that's like a little taboo because there is some, you know, like when he has her in the car with her, he touches her a little bit privately when she's underage, but it I don't know how to describe it. But also this hero was softer than I expected he would be, and I really kind of loved that. Like, I really liked that he was softer than I was expecting, especially from what we see of him in the first book in Prisoner. I was expecting it to be a little bit more than that. But I really did like it, how the series wrapped up. I mean, there's only 2 books in this, and there probably won't ever be more, which is kind of sad. But also I understand, like, this was an author duet who wrote this series, and if they weren't able to continue working together, like, what are you going to do? You know, what are we going to do about it? So, yeah. So anyway, I gave that 5 stars, though. I really did enjoy myself with it. So, what I have left to get done today. I did dive back into the Dating Dilemma, and I read 35% of it before I went to bed last night. I was too tired to like film a clip, but I was reading it while I was in bed, and I'm not having a super great time with it. The issue that I'm having is that it has a cute setup for, you know, like a rom-com of like kind of a mistaken identity thing happening in the beginning where our heroine thinks that he is a strippergram getting sent to her for her birthday, and he's not. He really is a firefighter who is there to do an inspection at the children's center that she works at. And when the inspection ends up getting done, there are a lot of like code violations that could cause a lot of problems for the center. Like, they would need to close if they weren't able to take care of them, right? So, yeah. Our hero, though, he ends up volunteering to do the fixes for it. So that's kind of cool, because he has some volunteer hours that he can use, and it's for a good cause. It's for a nonprofit, this children's center. But the thing that makes it really weird, because that's a cute reason for them to be around each other. The thing is that he isn't dating anyone because he's had a big heartbreak, and he's been heartbroken for like 3 years and hasn't really dated anyone. He's only had one night stands or hit it and quit it situations. And our heroine, she is on like a dating ban for 6 months. It's self-imposed, obviously, because she needs to focus on herself. And so, yeah, that's a thing. Well, then our hero, his sisters are trying to encourage him to start dating, and they're trying to like push him. And so it slips out of his mouth that he just started dating someone new, and says that it's our heroine. And then he asks her if she will fake date him to get his sisters off his back. And she's like, oh, well, this will be perfectly safe because I don't really want to date someone, and we can just fake date. So it's just, to get them to the fake dating part of it is just so complicated. And I know it's called the dating dilemma and all that, but like, also, and I knew this going in, but I wanted to read another one for books because I really want to support this author. And it's not that I think anything is horrible. It's just, there's a lot of hoops you have to kind of jump through. And some people may like not want to do that, right? Some people won't want to jump through those hoops, right? Because the tense that this is written in, so it's written in third person, but also just odd. Like, it's just a little bit odd. So it's hard to just dive into it. So anyway, that's going to be my goal today, is I want to finish that, and I want to do it soon. I'm getting sucked into like playing with my computer, and I need to put it down for a little bit to finish this one, because then I want to read the Minerva Spencer, and I want to get those done today. So it's 1:15. It's not like I don't have a lot of time. However, it is also the Yellowstone finale of season 4 tonight, and I want to watch that. So I want to be done with these by then. So I have like 5.5 hours to focus in and do that. So we'll see if I can do it. All right. And we'll check in soon. Sorry to end this in really bad lighting here. I had just a wonderful cold sore pop up literally just overnight last night. So fuck that. That's great. It's not a super painful one, but it's like very bright. Anyway, I do have the stuff that cuts it in half really quick, but still, there's still that day where it's just like so great. But anyway, okay, so I just want to wrap up this vlog. I did finish them last night, but it was pretty late when I finished. And I had already taken my makeup off and was in my pajamas, and I didn't want to film it. So we're going to wrap up Joss and the Countess, which I loved. I gave it 4.5 stars. Honestly, I'm just so impressed with Minerva Spencer, like every time I read one of her books. And I'm very excited because at the end of this one, in the notes, she said she's going to be adding more books to the Victorian Decadence series, which is her like erotic historical romance. Like, these ones are very spicy. Like, this is high heat level historical romance, but they still have some like slow burn and take their time, where her Victorian Decadence series, which again is under the SM LaViolette name, are very spicy, and they include menage and bisexual situations, and they're so good. But they're also like not as romantic. They're definitely more wham and bam and going on, which is fun to read sometimes, right? You know, we don't got to explain ourselves. But the ones in her other series that I've read, they are more the historical romance we love, but just a little bit spicier. You know, like her books tend to be more around like the 4 chili pepper instead of more like the 3, which I feel like a lot of historicals that I read are between like a 2 and a 3. on the spice range, where like sex is happening, but we're using maybe more flowery words for it, or it doesn't happen until later in the story, or, you know, we do things mostly in like 1 or 2 positions, where as in LaViolette, she will throw in, mix it up a little bit, you know. So this one was a bodyguard romance. It was also an age gap older woman. So the Countess, she is almost 40, and she is twice widowed, once to a man that she loved very dearly, even though he was much older than her. He basically like gave her a life. He was a wonderful man, but he was much older than her. And then after he died, she was convinced to marry another man who was not great to her, and it led to some very traumatic things. So that being said, there are quite a few trigger warnings for this one, okay? Including sexual assault, incest, and not the fun kind, like someone assaulting a family member, someone raping a family member, and yep. And then also, yeah, like domestic abuse and infertility. So there were quite a few like bigger triggers for this one, but yeah, so this was the thing is, it's like I would call this a dark romance, but I wouldn't necessarily call the romance between them dark. Like, it's more a dark romance because of those triggers that I mentioned and because of those elements to this story. But anyway, Joss has been her bodyguard, for her manservant, for a few months now. He was recommended by one of his previous employers. Joss used to be a member of Melissa's brothel, the one that was in Melissa and the Vicar that I read a little while back, but he had left that life because he just was finding that it was pretty empty for him, right? Even though, you know, he made a lot of money doing that, he wanted to just do something different than that. But women still kind of flock to him, and what I like though is, like, they like him because he's very like big, and not just, you know, downstairs, which he is, but he's this very like that big, bulky, looks like a bruiser, looks like he's a pugilist, like just bulky, and the women are very drawn to it. And he's also a bit of a dom. That was one of his like specialties at the brothel, is that women like to be dominated by him, but also he would sometimes be like their slit, like he would do kind of all of that play. And Alicia, who is actually, too, I should say that she's an American who is a countess at this time, she is very drawn to that, and he kind of knows that if they ever were to have something together, that she would like it a lot. But they're very like wary of the fact that it could go very wrong if they were together. So yeah, so this is a forbidden romance. Also, something that's happening is that Alicia is being blackmailed by her stepson, who's actually, I think he is a couple years older than her. And we don't know what for, but one of the big things he's holding over her is that he has a younger sister who is actually, she is disabled. She is in a wheelchair. We don't know exactly what's wrong with her, that she is. We just know that she is handicapped. And Alicia loves her so much. She calls her daughter. I think is her name Jessica? I can't remember what her name is now off the top of my head, but that stepdaughter also loves her, calls her mama, and she is being kind of held over Alicia's head to get by her stepson to like make her do what he wants. So there's that bit of danger that's included as well. So I don't want to say too much more about it. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was beautiful. It's heartbreaking. It's one of those stories where when you know the whole setup and you learn all the pieces, you are like, how will this relationship work out? And because it's a romance, we know that it's going to. So yeah, I really love doing this little weekend vlog. I'm reading the first books of the year. I'm going to get this wrapped up and get it put up But yeah, it was so much fun. So I hope you'll try these books. I mean, I had a good time with most of them, right? So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I put up new videos 3 to 4 times a week. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.